Jen from Scrapping Under the Influence. I am here with a new project using Bella Blvd's Let's Scrapbook Collection Kit. This is such a fun paper, and you have probably already seen my little craft caddy that I did to go with this. But now I have an album that will fit in the little craft caddy. So on the front, I did do a shaker, and I did use the new Doodlebug shaker fill, because in the ephemera, there's this cute little piece that says Scrappy Girl. It's got the little ribbons and everything. So I tried to recreate that on the front of the album. So I just used a bunch of different little ribbon pieces I had, and a scallop circle die that I had to do that. And of course, you know, put way too much shaker fill in there because I always do that. The album is 6.5 by 6.5. We do have a ribbon closure on the side here. When you open it up, I used the Bella Pops over here, along with the circle that was cut out from that little die cut, or with my die. And this opens up, and you've got plenty of space for pictures and a nice big pocket in here. I'm sorry for what I said when I ran out of adhesive, because seriously, it's a real thing. Over here, we've got one of the cut-aparts, and that just flips up, and you've got a nice big pocket in here, and that nice little tuck spot there to keep that closed. In each of the pockets, I do have a big 5x7 insert, which I did that because I wanted to use those big ephemera pieces and have them stand up on the back outside of the book when it's sitting in the caddy. So you, of course, could absolutely cut those down if you wanted to, but I just thought that would be kind of fun and something a little bit different. On this side, I've got just a flap with a couple of big photo spots. Piece from the Words ephemera. Over here, I've got another one of the cut-aparts, and this has a magnet in here. And then these little flaps go every direction. This is from the what do they call it? The doohickey sticker sheet that comes in the collection kit. Again, I've got another one of the big inserts there with another one of the ephemera pieces. The inserts were all matted with the Bella Blvd, the new gingham stripe. The rest of the book itself, for the most part, is matted with the papers from the 12x12 collection kit. The collection kit's neat because you get 2 each of each one of the pattern papers, 2 of the cut-aparts, and 2 of the border sheets. So I actually did all of this with 12 of those papers. I've got 12 uncut ones over here to do something else with, which should be coming here in a couple of days. So that was actually really cool. Over here we've got just stacked pockets, and again, the back side of my big insert. Here I've got just some flips. So tons of space for pictures here because, you know, when you go to crops and retreats and things, you tend to take a lot of pictures of you and your friends and the shenanigans you get up to and that kind of thing. So again, we've got another big insert there. I'm not going to go ahead and take that out. I'm going to leave it there. In here, I've got a belly band and just a little insert, and I did just mat the front of that. I didn't want it to get too bulky. Over here, we've got, this flips down like so, and it also flips up the other direction, and we've got another good pocket there. Back side of this, we've got a flap and a side-loading pocket, and then a waterfall in the back. And I did not mat the back side of the waterfall, and I actually screwed up when I put this one down. I meant to flip that tab back on top of that one so you didn't have that, but that's okay. Not a big deal. So this all closes back up, just like so. And then this sits perfectly in the little caddy. So, thanks for watching. Tutorial starts next. As always, if you end up making any of these projects, any of my projects, please share them and tag me on Facebook or Instagram at Scrapping Under the Influence. And you can also share them in Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations. So let's get to the tutorial. Okay, so for our album base, you want 2 pieces of chipboard that are 6.5 by 6.5, 1 piece that is 6.5 by 2. You're going to cover the backs of those with score tape. And to wrap those, you need 2 pieces of cardstock, 8.5 by 8.5. We're going to use our 1-inch spacers. We're going to get the back off of the tape. And go ahead and put that down. Down, and then for our spine, the cardstock is going to be 5 by 8.5, and we want our 1.5 inch and 1-inch spacers. Okay. Right. Done with the spacers. Off to the side here. I'm going to go ahead and do my spine first. So I'm going to use the chipboard to fold the cardstock around the chipboard. If you've made the lay flat album cover before, you'll know exactly how to do this. So you can, of course, fast forward through this if you want to. I'm going to miter. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and use 1/4 inch score tape. This is not my normal stuff. I did find this in a drawer. Although it tears a little bit easier. Okay. So for the spine, we're only going to wrap our 2 ends. Add a little bit of glue. Take my bone folder, push up against the side of the chipboard, over and burnish it down. Again, glue along the edge of the chipboard, a little bit in the middle there. Burnish over and down. And I'm going to turn this with the pretty side facing up, and I'm going to go along the sides of the chipboard here and just work that cardstock down over so that you can now see it's very defined. And then I'm going to add my 1/4 inch score tape along that outside edge. Like so. With our covers, we're going to fold around just like we did with the spine on all 4 sides, and miter. miter again. So you have that. It smells like it's moved. Because it has. I think I hit it with something the other day that I was doing. And then just hadn't gotten around to fixing it. Of course, I may not have noticed when I recorded my little Craft Caddy either, so. Okay. And miter. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead. I've been really good lately about getting most of my little pieces in my recycle bin down here, but not always. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and go around the edges with my score tape. This is 1/4 inch tape, which is what I prefer. You can use 3/8. You could use half, but that's probably a little more than you would want. Which, like I said, this actually isn't score tape branded. This is something I found in my stash that because I ran out of my 1/4 inch score tape. Which I'm not sure how I managed that. Probably because I used to order it. Every time I would place an order with Country Craft Creations, I would buy artisan cardstock and score tape. And then I ended up with such a massive amount of 1/4 inch score tape. I hadn't done that for a long time, and clearly I needed to start doing it again. Okay, so we're doing the same thing here. We're just going to wrap all 4 sides this time. So glue along the edge of the chipboard, in the middle, and then push that over and down. Okay, so I'm pushing up against the chipboard, and then over and down. I use the tape just so that it grabs immediately, and I don't have to spend a lot of time burnishing. But that's entirely optional. You don't have to do the 1/4 inch tape. Okay. And I do like to go opposite sides. You could just keep going on around. I have my cute little thing I was using to wipe up my glue, and I have misplaced it here somewhere. And I sincerely hope I didn't accidentally throw it away. I don't think I did. I think I just moved it somewhere that isn't making any sense. I just haven't run across it again yet. But that's okay. Okay, so now we're going to come in, you're going to put everything pretty side up. I'm going to pull my tape off here. I'm I'm going to run glue. I don't want to go all the way up to my chipboard. I want to stay about 1/8 of an inch away, just so I don't have that. I mean, the art glitter dries fairly clear and it doesn't dry like glossy, but I still don't want any like popping up between here. Okay, so I'm using, just kind of feeling where that drops off the edge of the chipboard there. And then I'm going to lay it down. And where I've got that piece of tape on there, it's going to grab immediately so I can turn it and move it, and my album cover is not going to slip and come out crooked, in theory. Even though sometimes I still manage to do it. I don't know. Okay. So I start out by laying it on top. And since this is a shorter spine, I can actually reach all the way across and feel. And when it drops off that edge of the chipboard, and it's hard to show, but you'll feel it when it happens. Okay, I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to burnish this down. I'm going to push this down in between. And then I'm going to take a piece of cardstock that is 6 3/8, so 1/8 of an inch shorter than our book. And this is 5 3/4 wide. You could go to 6, but you want at least 1/2 inch or so, which I've got 3/8 of an inch, which is actually okay, that comes out over the edge here. Okay, so you can see where the spine attaches. You want about, oops, I had it turned the right direction, that is. You want at least 3/8 to 1/2 inch, or more if you want to go bigger, coming out. You want to cover the back of this entirely with tape, okay? You don't want to use glue for this step. You do want tape, okay? So I am just going to center this up, drop it down, and then I'm going to burnish over the entire thing, which, where's my big card holder? Okay. Alright, so then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to burnish that into that crease. Sometimes it may be easier to bend this up and burnish. Okay, I'm going to fold it closed. Clearly, I did not. Oh my god! Apparently, I didn't use glue when I put this other side on. So we'll do that now because that's apparently just how my Sunday is going to go today. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. I don't think I've ever done that before. That is insane. Oh my gosh. Okay. Alright, so then what I was starting to say is I will go ahead and close it, and then I like to just pinch it. Okay? So there's our cover. I do need a piece of cardstock to cover in here, and I think I am going to use one of the 6x6 Bella Blvds, and since this album is like all kinds of colors, it really doesn't matter which one. Actually, those aren't going to be tall enough, are they? That's not going to be tall enough, just kidding. I'm not going to use that. At least not that specific one. Well, if I can get a hold of it. I think I'm actually going to use the yellow. And I think I'm going to use the yellow stripe. Okay, so that is a 2-inch spine, so I am going to cut this to 1 7/8 by, would be 6 3/8. But, so I absolutely adore this trimmer. I'm just having like weird camera things going on today. Oh, it's because I'm slightly zoomed in. Why am I zoomed in? I don't know. That would explain why it's weird. Sorry about that. I absolutely love this trimmer. Okay. But the more I've used it, there's a couple of things that do bug me. Okay. The markings up here, well, just the markings on either end here, are not the easiest to line up with because they are so far up and down, okay? So if it's something under 6 inches, I've found myself using this one in the middle, which is awesome, okay? If it's something small like this, I usually can line it up on the grid here and then line it up with this measurement and I'm fine. Going out this way, it's good because the little arms that pop out, and there is one on the top, I just don't usually pop out the one on the top, you're actually right on top of the measurements so you can really see them, okay? But between 6 inches and 6 3/4, it is almost impossible to get a good measurement, okay? So what I've started doing is just doing the reverse. So I need a piece that is 6 3/8, which actually I'm going to cut off this branding strip so it'll make more sense. Okay, so that right there would be 6 inches out this way. And then I need to back it up 3/8 of an inch. So that makes the piece that's coming out this way 6 3/8. This one is 5 5/8. Okay. So just grab my ruler to show you. Okay. So that ended up being 6 3/8. So if you do have this trimmer and that whole like 3/4 of an inch there between the 6 and the 7 just isn't working for you, that's the way to do it. Granted, I do screw that up still. I mean, and I've had this for, oh my gosh, 4 or 5 months now. I got it right after it came out. It is still kind of, it's not something I'm 100% used to yet, but it's getting easier. So, just, there's that. Which you may not care, and I wouldn't blame you at all. Okay, we are going to go ahead and mat underneath here because our pages on this, ooh, no, I do want stripes, are going to be 6 by 6. So our hinge is 6 inches high. Okay, so there's that. Now, our hinge and our pages. And I did actually score this last night just to make sure I had this right. But this is going to be 6 by 5.5. You're going to score at every 1/2 inch all the way across. Okay. So 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, and 5. Okay. Pages are going to be 6 by 12. You will need 4 of them. Okay, so 2 sheets of paper. A lot of what I tried to do with this, once I got past my cover and my page bases, is I tried to use, I have an entire bin full of black artisan scraps. Like, not even joking. They are sorted by size. I only kept, for the most part, pieces that I could use for photo mats, for inserts, for pockets, flaps, that kind of thing. So I'm trying to use this so that I'm not having to cut into new pieces of paper and create even more black scraps. But that being said, your pages, you'll need 2 12 by 12. You'll cut it in half to 6, and then you're going to score all of those at 6 inches. Okay, which I did last night when I cut those. Okay. So, our hinge. you're going to have, just because there's been a lot of people asking on scrapbookers lately that are newer, I am going to mark this to show you what I mean. Only I'm going to do it on the back side so I don't have to erase. Okay, so this is our bumpy side. Typically when scoring, you do want to fold towards the bump. It will fold better, there's less cracking, there's less issues. Okay, so these with the X, and I think I will zoom in again just so you can better see when I fold this. Okay, with the X are getting glued together. With the I, those are your gusset. Okay, so I am going to start with some of my middle. So I'm going to fold between my two X's here. Okay, when I do that, I'm going to line my paper up on both sides and make sure when I burnish this down that it's even. Okay, that will help your hinge trying to get this so you can see it a little bit better. There we go, I think that's good. That will make sure your hinge is straight, okay? So there's my two X's, they're going to fold together. I am going to go ahead and put glue in here. You don't need a ton because when you burnish it down, it's going to spread it out and you're going to have glue that comes out the end any way you look at it. So if you just don't get too carried away with the glue on this part, it's probably better. Okay, so now I will fold back on this score line. And again, I'm making sure it's even, and then I'll burnish it down. Okay, I'm going to turn it back over, and you can see here's our hinge. We're going to fold it back towards yourself and burnish. And then stand it up, and there's your first hinge. Okay, we've got one more here, we've got two going this way. So I'm going to do the same thing again. This one, I'm going to skip. I'm going to go to my next inside hinge. Okay. And again, I'm going to fold this over. I'm going to make sure I'm lined up side to side, that it's not hanging over on one side or the other, and burnish that down. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing I did with the glue. And you'll notice when I do this, I'm not putting glue towards this edge, okay? Because when I fold this over and I burnish this down and that glue spreads, that time I did better not getting too much, okay? And I come back and I fold back out and make sure that I'm folding it out straight before I burnish it down. That way glue is not seeping out into this section here. Okay? I'm going to turn it back over again and fold it back towards ourselves. Alright? Stand it up, and there's your two hinges. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to come to my outside hinges, I'm going to fold over, making sure, and you want to burnish from the middle out, not start it. You don't want to start burnishing when you're folding this at an end, because that's how the biggest cause of this being crooked. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and do my glue again. And burnish it. Turn it over, fold it back on itself, and burnish. Okay. And last one, same thing again. making sure it's even. Okay, and then fold it back again and burnish it down. And then you especially with artisan, because it's heavier, if you're not using artisan, you probably don't need to work it back and forth a couple of times. But, so this should be flat. I don't have anything like bumping up. It should be even at this point, which partially depends on how you scored it. Yep, I am even top and bottom, which is what I want. Okay, so now I'm going to hold it by these two middle pieces like this, okay? And like I said, if you guys have made these before, I'm sure you've figured out you can fast forward because you know how to do this basic assembly part. Okay. I'm going to hold on my outer edges. I'm going to line it up top to bottom. And then I'm going to line it up side to side. I actually made myself a tool with my Glowforge to kind of help with that. But because I have the Aura, which is just mostly for home use, it's not really meant to be used for like mass production. I haven't shown it to anybody because there's no point, because I can't make a bunch of them like to sell. So, all right, pages, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to fold it, make sure we're lined up on this end. You're going to start burnishing from the middle and go out, okay? And then we'll go ahead and attach. Okay, so how I like to do this, I'm going to go ahead and put glue on one end. I'm going to hold it, put it down here. I'm going to push it all the way up to the edge of the spine. I'm going to fold that over, making sure I'm lined up top to bottom. I'm going to close it, and then I'm going to wiggle it back about a 1/16 of an inch, maybe an 1/8 of an inch. Okay? So you'll see here, there's my fold line, there's where it moves, and then I've got a gap. Okay, that's what you want. Okay, I'm not going to glue it completely closed yet because I want to do the same thing again. And two, that gives that time on that other side for it to dry so that you don't end up, as you're opening it back up and trying to do more glue and close it back down, it's not going to move. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing again. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit more. Okay. Okay, so I'm all the way, I'm lined up, top to bottom. I'm going to fold this over, hold this closed, and then I'm just very slowly going to pull it back till I have my gap. Okay. Same thing again. And one more time. Okay, so I'm going to let that sit for just a second before we glue those pages the rest of the way. And I'm going to make our inserts. And I'm going to show you how to do this. This may be something most of you know. If it is, feel free to fast forward. You need 4 inserts that are 5 by 7. Now, and I know I've shown this on camera before. In fact, I think I royally screwed it up in one video. But you're going to put your paper, your 12 by 12, into your trimmer at 5 inches. I like to start at the 7-inch mark, drop it in, and slide it back. Okay, and turn it a quarter turn, line it up at 5 again, bring my trimmer blade back so I'm starting at 7 inches, drop it down, there's your first one. Turn it to 5 inches again, start at 7, there's your next one. Turn it to 5 inches again, and this time it's your last cut, so you're just going to go all the way. And there are your 4 5 by 7s. We're going to set those aside for right now because we don't need them yet. But they are going to, and we may end up adjusting these, they are going to stick up out of our book because we're going to use some of those absolutely adorable ephemera pieces along the top here, so it's going to stick up since this will fit down inside our caddy. Like I said, we may end up trimming some off of these, but for now, that's where we want to start. Okay, so this should be dry. All I'm going to do, I'm going to goop off the end of my glue there. I'm going to put a line down here at the bottom and a line on the top of that hinge. And then all I have to do is close this and burnish it down. Okay? And that's it. Okay. And the cool thing is, if you wanted to make your inserts shorter, you could glue along the bottom here and then glue somewhere in this area to make the overall pocket shorter. And that works as well, especially when you're doing big pages. That works really well if you're doing inserts. A lot of times I don't do inserts. I leave the tops of the pockets open so you have that option, but a lot of times I don't actually end up making the inserts for the inside. It just depends on the project. Okay, this one I'm just going to leave where it is because it's at the back of the book. Okay, and there we go. There's all of our pages in. All right, next up, front inside cover. For the front inside cover, you need cardstock that is 7 by 4.5. This is for a pocket, so we are going to score this at 1/2 inch. Turn, 1/2 inch again. Turn one more time, and 1/2 inch. We have 2 flaps. These are 6.5 by 6 7/8. You're going to put the 6 7/8 at the top of the scoreboard and score at 1/2 inch. And then again at 5/8. Okay. So 1/2 inch, 5/8. Okay. First up, we're going to miter from the first score line out. The 1/8 inch is a gusset since this is laying over a pocket. Okay. On our pocket, we're going to miter through the corner where that intersects. And then miter the top. Okay. So I am going to fold and burnish both of my score lines. Okay. This one is going to go from the top down. I am going to round the corners. Actually, no, I'm not. I don't think I want to mess with that today. Okay. So I'm going to turn this upside down and go all the way to the top and all the way to the outside edge. If you're not sure, it would probably be smart to dry fit this to make sure that it's not running into your cover, which mine is. This is another one of those do as I say, not as I do. That's okay, because all I'm going to do is come in here and take another 1/8 of an inch off. And miter again. And then we'll glue it again. And that's one of the things, and you know, for as long as I've been, as many tutorials as I have done, you'd think I would remember to check that. And somehow I never remember to check that. Till I'm gluing it in and it's either too late, or I have to do like we just did with pulling it out and then putting it back in. Okay. Our second flap. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to fold and burnish. Okay. And the plan is, for this to come up from the bottom. So I think I am going to take another 1/8 of an inch off of that. So instead of it being 6 1/2, it's going to be 6 3/8. Because that was going in there much tighter than I anticipated it would. Which happens. It's not a big deal. Most stuff can be fixable. You just have to be flexible and go, you know what, we're going to change pace here just a tiny bit. Okay. Actually, you know what? No, I think I do want this coming in from the side. So, I'm going to line it up all the way at the bottom on the outside edge. And then I can push my gusset back. Okay. Pocket, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to fold in my sides. bottom will be fine. And it is smaller. So actually, I do need to mat on here before I put this in. But you've all done many, many pockets with me. All we will do is glue, which I will do that much first, because then all we have to do is come back and close it up once I put matting in. Okay, so I'm putting glue on the bottom tab only. I'm centering this up, and I will leave this unattached for now. So that when I cut the matting that's going to go underneath here, that will come in and fit under there, and then we can seal it up. Okay, so there we go. I'll do the back inside last. Okay, first page, we have 2 pockets and a flap. Okay. Flap is 6 by 4.5. 4.5 at the top of your scoreboard. You're going to score at 1/2 inch. Okay. Pocket, first pocket is going to be 7 by 3.5. Starting with the 7 inch at the top, you're going to score 1/2 inch. Turn, 1/2 inch again. Turn, 1/2 inch. The bottom pocket that's going to sit on top of this other one is 2 by 6. Starting with the 6 inch at the top, you're going to score 1/2 inch. Turn, 1/2 inch again. Turn, and then 1/2 inch. Okay. So we're going to miter. So on the pockets, again, you're just mitering all the way through the bottom. I'm going to fold in my sides. And I'm going to dry fit this before I go any further. And it's okay. All right. So let's miter our smaller pocket. Okay. Going to glue the bottom first. Going all the way to the outside edge and the bottom on the first page. Okay. This little pocket, because it is smaller, you would want to mat underneath it before you glue it up. But we are going to go ahead and just glue this bottom tab, because this will just have a cut apart on a mat in this to hold the top flap down. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just glue the bottom centered up just like so. Okay, the flap we're going to go ahead and miter. Golden burnish. And this is going to go all the way to the top, all the way to the outside edge. Okay, there's that one. Okay, this one is going to be a little bit different. we're going to move on because I'm not entirely sure which part of it is wrong. But I don't want to figure it out right now. So we're going to keep going. Oh, that may just be a flap and we'll call it good. Okay, on to front of page 2. We have got one piece that is 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. This will get a cut apart and a magnet to hold our flaps on. With this piece, these are 3 by 3 1/2. You need 4 of them. You're going to score them at 1/2 inch with the 3 1/2 at the top. Okay, go ahead and miter them. And then fold the tabs and burnish. Okay, we're going to start in the upper right hand corner. This one will go down upper right corner at the top, out on the edge, so that it flips out. And turn, you're going to go to the bottom right hand corner. This one will flip down. Okay, we're going to move on to the inside lower left corner. This one will open in towards the middle of the book. And the last one in the upper left will open to the top. Okay. So, we need magnets. I'm going to need 4 of them eventually. I'm just going to put 2 on here for now, because the other 2 will go on the back of our cut apart. Okay, so I'm going to open this up, not my screwed up part, the normal part. I'm going to open this up, figure out where my magnets need to go. Okay, which I guess we can go ahead and put them on the back side of that as well. Actually, it would be the front side. Okay, so I'm going to make sure this is kind of sitting in the middle. I'm going to drop my other magnets on top. Like so. Pick that back up, close everything back in, and drop that back down. Just like so. All right. See, that worked. Oh my gosh. Okay. Page 2, back of page 2, we're going to do some stacked pockets. These are straightforward enough. We have one piece that is 7 by 4. We're going to score it 1/2 inch on 3 sides. And then a piece that is 7 by 2 1/2, and score on 3 sides as well. And then we are going to miter. and burnish. And lay this on, make sure it fits the way I want it. We're good. And because it runs the width of the page, we can go ahead and put it all the way down. We don't need to leave it loose to mat underneath it. Okay. And we'll do the same thing with our pocket that sits on top. And again, because this runs the entire width, and you'll be able to slide the matting down in. You don't need to mat this ahead of time. We can just go ahead and glue this on. Okay. There you go. All right, front of page 3, we have, well, we have a pocket popping up on us because apparently I didn't burnish it down well enough. Okay, we have 4 flaps that are 5 7/8 by 6 3/8. 6 3/8 at the top, you're going to score it 1/2 inch. Okay, we are not going to miter these because we are going to stack these. So we are going to fold and burnish each one of them. Let me grab some clips. Okay, so we are going to stack these like so. Okay, I am going to put glue on 3 tabs. I am not putting it on the last tab. Okay, I'm going to pinch like so and put a clip. Then I can go ahead, press out the rest of the way, and clip there as well. Okay, I'm going to let this dry, set it aside, we'll come back to that one. Back of page 3, we have 2 flaps and a pocket. Our flaps are 6 1/2 by 5. So we will score both of those at 1/2 inch with the 6 1/2 at the top. And then we have a pocket that is 7 by 3 1/2. So we're going to start on the 7 inch side, score at 1/2 inch, turn, 1/2 inch, turn, 1/2 inch again. And miter my flaps, miter the pocket, and fold and burnish. pocket is going to go down on the bottom. I'm completely breaking my own rule here by doing all three sides at once, but it's okay. Okay. My glue has picked up a little dried bit from the bottom. Okay. This flap will be centered up at the top. This flap is going down here. Okay, like so. I'm going to grab another set of magnets. This is going to go in here right above the pocket. Close this up. I'm going to lay on my tape. So you'll be able to open it like that and like that. Okay? Back side of page 4. I'm missing something somewhere, or else I've done something extra. What have I done? Oh. Alright, well, that was actually supposed to be over here, but you know what? It's fine. So, what is now the back side of page 3, instead of the front of page 4, like I literally just did, we are going to do a belly band that is 7 inches, which that's what I needed to look at. Hold on. So, I need to figure out which one of my border strips I actually want to use for this. Okay, so I think I'll use that little flower button when I actually go to mat. So, in that case, this is 7 by 1 1/4. We're going to score this at 1/2 inch on each end. And then we have an insert that is 5.5 by 11 that we will score at 5.5. The insert you can fold and burnish and set aside for a second. Our belly band we will go ahead and miter. Fold and burnish. And then that is going to run across like so. So you will just center it up, glue on each end. Like so. If the glue wanted to actually stick, it's got to be something with the lack of humidity here. Sometimes the glue just does not want to hold. And then that will slide down in there. Okay, back side of page 4. We have a side pocket and a flap. The flap is 5.5 by 6 with the 5.5 at the top of the scoreboard. You're going to score this at 1/2 inch. So this is why I turn it sideways. Pocket is 7 by 3.5. We're going to score it 1/2 inch. Turn it 1/2 inch again. If I go all the way down, and then 1/2 inch again. Okay, a little miter, like we always do with a pocket. So the top, and then through where the score lines intersect at the bottom. We're going to fold and burnish. I think I scored that too hard and popped through on that, but you know what, it's fine. Okay. This is going to go over here on this edge, like so. Glue that down. Go ahead and miter our corners on the flap. And that will go on the opposite side. Okay. Got another set of magnets. Or you could use ribbon on this one. You know what? I think I'm going to wait and use ribbon on that one. Which is what we're also waiting on with this piece. Okay. First off, before we do our waterfall over here, we do need to mat that. So, you know what? I think I'm just going to use that yellow. Okay. So, it would be 6 3/8 by 6 3/8. So, because this is no longer the size I needed it to be, or well, it's no longer 6 inches, or 12 inches. I promise I know what I'm doing. I am going to lay my ruler on here and line this up. Okay, there we go. Not ideal, but it works. Okay. So, before we do that, for the waterfall, you need 5 pieces that are 6 by 4.5. No, that's not what I want. This is what I want. With 4.5 at the top of your scoreboard, you are going to score these at 1/2 inch. Okay. Do not miter on a waterfall, but we want to put our first one down, or how do I want to do this? Hold on, let me think for a second. No, since you're going to see all of them, it doesn't matter. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put my matting down. And I am going to use the gingham side this time, because it's pretty and I like it. Okay. Although, I'm not going to totally glue it down on this side because we are going to do a closure on this, and I need to be able to tuck that underneath over here. So I'm going to make sure this doesn't glue totally down on that end, but we can go ahead and put our waterfall in. So I'm going to go ahead and burnish. And if you wanted to make the waterfall taller so it ran the entire height of the page, that's absolutely up to you. But I want to match it up to a border strip again. And I think I want my little color wheel piece here. So that is 1 1/4 high. So I'm going to want my piece to be 1 3/8. And then I want it to be let's say 4 1/2 inches. Okay, so 1 3/8 by 4 1/2 if you're matting it with that border strip. If you're matting it some other way, that's fine. Adjust it accordingly. So I'm going to score this at 1/2 inch and at 5/8 of an inch. Okay. Be long enough. Should be. Yep, that'll be good. Honestly, a little bit longer would probably be better. So I think I'm going to recut that. That's okay. I have plenty of scraps that I can recut it from something else. I just have one. There it is. Okay. I think we're going to go 5 1/2 instead. So 5 1/2 by 1 3/8. Okay. Again, 1/2 inch, 5/8. Miter. Go ahead and get some glue on the back of that. Center it up, tuck it underneath the edge of our paper here. Okay, and I can lift this up and get the rest of this glued down. Okay. All right, so now we can go ahead and put in the waterfall. Okay. And I'm going right to the edge of my matting to start this. And then you just normal waterfall, line it up with the piece before it. Like so. Okay, there is that. Let's grab our magnets. And our tape. Okay. Okay, I'll go ahead and close that down. And there you go. Okay. All right, so let's come back to where this one is going to go in. Let me find my ribbon. 1 second. Okay, so pull my clips off. I just need to decide if I'm going to have this flip up, which I think I will. Okay, so all I'm going to do for now is tie my ribbon around it so that I know I have enough. That'll be good. Center my ribbon, and then I'm going to come in here. I'm going to get glue on the back. Okay. Turn my book upside down so I can see exactly where I'm putting it down. And that is just going to line up all the way to this outside edge, all the way at the top. That way the ribbon is there, so when I go to mat underneath this, I'll just untie it, mat over the ribbon to hold it in place, and it's good to go. I think we are going to skip my element here. I will cover that up with matting and ephemera, because I honestly still have not figured out what I was doing wrong there, but that's okay. And there is your base, all ready to go. Not too bad. As always, thank you for watching. Oh, that's what else we didn't look at yet. Okay. I'll come back to these after I get some matting on, but basically what you're going to do, you don't need to come back. Okay. So you're just going to put, these are going to go in here. You're going to decide if you want them that tall, because like I can mat this and I can put, for example, let's see here, a little craft desk on here. Okay, so it's matted, the little craft desk is sticking up out the top, like so. Okay, in fact, I really like that on there, just like that, and that's exactly what I'm going to use that one for. And if you want to cut these down shorter so that whatever element you put on them isn't standing up as much, by all means go right ahead, but I do want mine standing up like that because this whole thing is going to sit in here just like that. In fact, you could make 2 of them and put in there if you wanted to. Yeah, so there you go. That is your project. As always, thank you for watching. Sorry if this was a little bit of a mess in a couple of places. It's the first day after the time change. And I'm just all discombobulated because of it. So there we go. As always, thank you for watching. If you end up making this project, please share it with me on Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations. You can also tag me on Facebook and Instagram at Scrapping Under the Influence. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Okay, so for the cover, I ended up deciding to do a shaker. So there is this super cute little ephemera piece that's got all the ribbon, has a little scallop circle. So that's kind of what I'm going for here. So I have a scalloped doodle bug die that I've had for forever. that I use to make the frame itself. So I just die cut this at just 10 scraps of black artisan, cut one out of white and then one out of pink, and then cut a circle out of the acetate to, of course, mount this on. And then I just went through my ribbon stash and just layered some ribbon underneath the back of that. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. And two, this gave me an excuse to use the Doodlebug shaker fill that is brand new. I have not had a chance to really play with yet. Okay, so I'm just going to center that about there. I'm going to go ahead and just put glue all over the back of my stack of the die cuts for the frame itself. Okay, that I'm actually going to let sit and dry for a minute, but I'll just go ahead and fill that with, I'm using the Tangerine, the Swimming Pool, and the Bumblebee shakers from Doodlebug, because they'll match with the colors that are on the front of the book itself. And once I put those in there, I've got my score tape on the back of my little die cut here, and I'll just line that up and put it on top to close that off. Aside from that, I don't think I have anything else crazy going on in here. I'm about 3/4 of the way to done. I've got to do a little bit more matting and then decorating, of course, and then this will be done. So I have to mat my spine and my back. I did just pull some the black sheer polka dot ribbon out of my stash. All the rest of this is also, that I used on here, is out of my stash. I'll end up trimming some of these down a little bit more once this is dry and everything is good and stuck down. But for now, there we go. As always, thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys stopping by. If you end up making this project or any of my other projects, please share them on Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations. You can also share them and tag me on Facebook and Instagram at Scrapping Under the Influence. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.